Most of the time, whatever a developer quotes you at the start of a project is going to be wrong. What changes is how far off they are. So what you pay at the end could be a bit more, a lot more, or exactly the same. So much of this depends on the pricing model you both agree on. That's why you need to be crystal clear on it before you hand over that initial deposit. Really, pricing models are all about managing the risk of uncertain future cost. Does the developer shoulder it themselves? Do they pass it on to the client? Or do they share? By the end of this video, you will understand the two core software development pricing model, common variations of it, pros and cons of each. And at the end, I'll explain how to choose the best model for your project as a client. Let's get to it. The two core pricing models. Whether it's an agency in Zimbabwe or a freelancer in his mom's basement in Singapore, no matter how a developer ends up charging, it comes down to two opposing pricing models: fixed and variable. They are opposites because each puts most of the risk of future costs on either the client or the developer. Fixed pricing. A developer using a pure fixed price model will take you through a very thorough requirements gathering process where every user, feature, screen, and use case is counted for. Then they lock in the scope and give you a number. Once agreed, that's all you pay and that's all you get. It can take on several forms, the most common being deposit plus handover. You pay a percentage of the final estimate upfront to start work, then the remainder upon completion. The specific percentage varies, but generally shouldn't be higher than 30% except for very small projects. Milestone based. We break up payments into blocks tied to achieving key milestones. You only pay for what's been done and developers stay motivated to finish the project, especially if you backload payments, so later milestones carry higher fees. Why it's mostly good for you. In theory, fixed pricing offers you safety and certainty. If your budget can cover the cost at the start, it can cover the cost at the end. And as everything depends on that upfront estimate, developers get very serious about requirements and documentation. They will demand to soul suck everything out of your stakeholders and you get clear requirements document, scope, and product roadmap. So it's much more we know the end from day one and less figure it out as it goes. Why it can suck for developers. Let's assume we can accurately estimate the total cost down to the decimal. It's going to be a huge number. And on top of that, we can't accurately estimate total cost. So we need to add in a buffer. The huge number now goes from XXL to your mama's size. We are going to be terrified of telling you. In our heads, you're not going to say yes to that. You're going to go with a sweet-talking competitor who quotes less. So we have two choices: lie or turn to. My team and I at Upstack Studio help non-technical entrepreneurs grow past $5 to $10 million in annual revenue with custom software. We've worked with over 30 leading brands across industries. These businesses were stuck because there was no ready-made solution on the market that solved their problems. To continue growing, they had to make their own. If your business is also currently stuck at this 5 to 10 million level and you want to explore custom solutions, let me help. There's a link in the description to sign up for a free, no strings attached strategy session. We'll dissect your current constraints together and you'll get an honest opinion about whether custom software is your answer. And if yes, we decide if we can work together. If it's not, you just save yourself from a very big investment with no ROI. Apply through the link and we'll be in touch. I'm only taking 3 of these calls per month, so it's first come, first served. If you want to work with me, apply right now. Back to the video. Variable pricing. A pure variable pricing model charges based on actual time and resources spent. Costs will vary based on how the project evolves, whether you want it to or not. New ideas, changing priorities, or just us discovering it's a shit ton harder to build what you want. Variable pricing accounts for that, and developers usually prefer this option because in software development, flexibility often leads to better quality software. The most common way you will see this in practice is through an hourly rate. We track hours spent on development and you get billed periodically, usually at the end of a development cycle, or we may opt for a fixed retainer. Instead of going by hours, which can vary wildly and takes time to track and tally, we charge you a fixed fee for every week or month we work on your project. Why it can suck for you. Your budget can cover the cost at the start, but can it cover the cost at the end? Also, how do you know the developers billing you for 20 hours really put in 20 hours? You don't? you can't. Variable pricing takes the certainty of a fixed price and throws it out of the window. Or if you're in Russia, the fixed price will accidentally fall out of a window instead. You now take on most of the risk, and that's not a fun position to be in. Why it's mostly good for developers? Obviously, we now don't have to worry about unexpected costs eating into our margins. But more than that, it allows us to build the best software we can, because 99% of projects require flexibility to reach their full potential. We still start with requirements gathering and a product roadmap, but now we let them evolve over time as we discover new things about what users really want and how the software can serve them. Since fixed prices mostly benefit the client while variable pricing developers, in practice, most real-world models use hybrid pricing. We take the good from fixed and variable pricing models and use a practical blend with an upfront estimate and deposit to start work, fixed milestone or sprint-based payments, but flexibility to renegotiate terms if need be. You get some measure of certainty and know what you pay for every step of the way. Your developer is protected from unexpected costs and won't just run off. Yes, it happens. Basically, everyone's equally protected and inconvenienced, as all fair deals are. But there are many ways to skin a cat, and a hybrid model is like a sliding scale. Some models are more fixed than variable, and vice versa. The same developer will often use different combinations depending on what protects them the most, and so should you. So here's the most important part: deciding between fixed and variable pricing models for you. When fixed pricing works better. A fixed pricing model works better when uncertainty is low. As a developer, I'll consider fixed pricing if a project were small or short-term, clearly defined from the start, low risk and low complexity, based on proven ideas or existing systems, led by an experienced client who knows what they want. In these cases, locking scope early makes sense, as chances of major surprises are low. You need to be honest with yourself. But in my experience, very few custom development projects fit this description. When variable pricing works better, you should embrace the initial discomfort and lean towards a variable model if your project is long-term or ongoing, exploratory or evolving in scope, and driven by user feedback and iteration. This probably describes 90% of the viewers watching this, because you don't exactly know what the end product will look like or feel like yet. Expect things to change, and you've got to be ready to pay for it. Upstack Studio uses fixed initial fees to protect clients, retainers to protect us, and clear clauses for either side to renegotiate to protect everyone. And I think it's a sign of a developer who is serious about doing good work at fair price and finishing a project. Because the developer can have a great pricing model and still suck at actually building software. Hire them, you lose no matter what. But now you know all about pricing model. I started this channel to help non-technical entrepreneurs who want to make smart choices about using tech to start and grow business. If that's you, subscribe. You'll find topics like vibe coding, AI automation, and custom software broken down and explained in terms of what they mean to a business and business owners. Minimal jargon, zero FOMO. And I would love to hear from you. What topics would you like me to cover? Drop it in the comments below. Time to find out how to tell good and bad developers apart. I have an entire playlist on this topic and I cover everything. So start from the beginning, where I explain why offshore projects always fail. See you in the next video.